people deserve good people. Some of us won't be honest with ourselves. We ain't good people. We're manipulative, shysty. Everything is about what we can extract, what we can get. And if the benefit stops, so do we. We'll switch up. We'll move to somebody's friend. We'll move to their brother. No values. Because what we want is what we want. Honestly, brothers and sisters, do we deserve a good husband, a good wife, somebody that'll create safety for you, and your heart is not content to love them for real? Good arguments. Anybody know somebody like that? You know, it just depends on how you set up and what you come from. Some folks only know drama. Some people only know pain. And if your relationship is healthy, it's boring to them. They ain't used to no drama-free love. Just come home every day to peace and cooking. What kind of Disney movie is this? Right? In their mind, relationships have to have some drama to be interesting. And I just want us to get a better understanding. May God give us grace so we don't have to produce dramas in our love life, you know, to keep it interesting. Let's find any other way to be interesting besides drama. Let's look at what we've talked about so far. Of course, we've been in this for the last several weeks. The first week, I wanted you to understand that your desires are not dirty. They're not evil. They're not demonic. Your desires came from God. If you desire love, intimacy, closeness, you look over, see somebody, say, she fine. God gave you them eyes and the ability to discern what was good looking and what wasn't. And you look over at that man, you say, oh, Lord, you know, I don't know what you ladies go through. Maybe you get weak need like we do or something, right? Whatever your experience is, there's a tendency to judge yourself, to feel like something's wrong with that, especially if you grew up in the right type of religious setting. So we need to redeem our desires. I want you to know nothing wrong with your desires. You just need to make sure those things get disciplined. Make sure they get discipled. Because if you start worshiping your desires, making an idol out of your desires, you'll find that you might bring your life to ruin. Pleasure is not to be worshiped. God is to be worshiped. And so we learned week one to discipline these desires, bring them back into alignment with God's will. We talked about how shame came in, and didn't shame just start distorting desire? Shame make us start reaching out for love in all the wrong places, trying to find people who can accept us to varying degrees. And then we introduced attachment styles, and I want you to know that attachment deals with how we love. It answers the question of what happened when I reached out to love, reached out for love early on. And this week, I want to move forward with that idea of attachment, and I want to talk about what healed attachment can look like in real relationships. Genesis 2:18 makes it very clear that God designed us for attachment. And I read this on last week. Let me say it again to you for anybody that's a little confused. And the Lord God said, comma, quotation marks, it is not good that man should be alone. And I need you to know that was before the fall of man, before our shame, before any sexual distortion or confusion over our identities. God says that your desire, your need for relationship is holy. Somebody write that down. I know you can live alone. I know you can. Some of you have proved your point. But it's not good for a man or a woman to be alone. Doesn't necessarily mean that every relationship has to be sexual, but God made us for community. Does that make sense? The word alone means isolation without support. We're not talking about independence. You know, because some people think I'm challenging their independence, telling them they need to be dependent upon somebody. That's not what I'm talking about. But community. Man was not created to be unattached, to just dwell, just be out there on their own, by themselves. That's why not one of us came here alone. We came here through somebody. I don't know if I'm talking good to you or not. It took two of them jokers to make you too. Okay. You did not just pop out the sky one day. You came here through someone. You belong somewhere, a family, glory to God. And in a larger sense of the word, a human family. I just feel like the Lord wants me to put a little bit of pressure on that. Nobody was designed to live. Now, life might bring you to a place where you just rather, haven't you been there? Sometimes we call ourselves introverts and don't want nothing to do with the outside world. Right? But no matter how introverted you are, you still need somebody. And if you be honest with yourself, you get home, you don't like a crowd, but you like one. Introverts, be honest with yourself now. You know, sometimes that crowd exhausts you, but you looking for that special someone that doesn't exhaust you. They get you. They understand you. They refuel you. They understand when you need to be quiet. They're right there and quiet with you. Am I making sense to you? Okay, so needing connection, somebody needs this. It's not weakness, it's your design. Somebody been laying in that bed, Lord, please take the desire away. For what? Companionship? You want God to remove your desire for companionship? For relationship? Relationship, the desire for relationship, the desire for connection, needing connection is not a weakness. God designed you that way. Am I making sense to you? So since I need connection and intimacy is what I'm designed for, then what's the challenge? What's going on? I want to submit to you that many of us have experienced intimacy and love without safety. And this has become the root of the problem. Let's talk about what's going on here in the story. Let's talk about what secure love looks like before, what safety looks like before we move on into all the sex and marriage and swap and spit. Can we create enough safety? Am I safe enough? Anybody can get undressed and be naked. But can you really be naked? You know what I mean. Because a lot of us can take off clothes and still have on layers. And I'm curious as to how we can keep taking off clothes so quick with folks that we don't feel safe enough to be seen with. Am I making sense to you? The challenge is that many of us are rushing into the intimacy, rushing into the love. We've already started planning marriages, but we don't feel safe enough to be seen with them. I want you to notice how Ruth and Boaz meet in the scripture. And I want somebody to note it. They meet before it get all romantic and sensual and sexual, before any vows. They just modeled secure attachment. Sisters, I want you to note a couple of things about Boaz, and then brothers, I'm going to tell you a couple of things to note about Ruth. The first thing we see in the scripture is that Boaz himself is labeled as a wealthy man. Verse 15 calls him a noble man. It means he's a man himself of character. He is a man himself of great discipline. You could tell in the way he greets his employers that he's respectful and he's respected. Ladies, take a look. Is the people that are already under his control, are they safe? How do they respond? Being married to someone is giving them permission to lead you. Have you watched them lead in any other capacity? Some people are good leaders. Some people are horrible leaders. Some folks, when they have access and power, they crush. Some people, when they have access and power, they elevate, they build. You got to learn to look for not just the red flags, but write down, notice some green ones. After you done been through enough, you notice all them red flags, baby, you run away quick. But did you notice that this man was a man of peace? He didn't like chaos. A man of discipline. Gets up the same time every morning. Go to work. Make things happen. Did you notice any green flags? Some of the stuff that, again, depending on how you set up, could be quite boring. The man has something. And let's talk about Ruth, because what good is it to have a good man if you ain't got a good woman? There's something about Ruth that stands out before he gets to know her, he sees her, and there's something about her that signals she's different. Well, on a very general level, she's not from there. She's a foreigner. So she has a hint of exoticism to her. But beyond that, she's working. Where did she come from? I didn't leave with an extra employee. How did we get another employee? She's come putting herself in a position to bring her skill to the table, to be useful beyond just appearance of beauty. She comes into the equation prepared to enhance something, put her hands to something, not take. Brothers, I know you notice a lot of red flags, but have you noticed any green ones? Ruth has the character and the nature. She's a noble woman as well. And when the scripture talks about her character, it actually parallels her with the virtuous woman of Proverbs 10:31. Ruth has that type of character, and Boaz spots it from a distance. Ooh. See, character can be seen before people even get to know you. You can tell when somebody has refined character. I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's in the way they walk. It's in the way they talk. It's in the way they handle their affairs. It's in the way they work. You know, some people work, and everything about the way they work say they can't stand working. They don't want to be here today. They don't like this job. They don't like you. They don't like none of this. They only doing this because they need a paycheck. And then there's some people, when they work, they bring pride, excellence, grace. They inspire you. They work so well, they make you want to do better work. Ooh, I can tell some of y'all ain't been around them kind of workers. Lord, give you grace to meet somebody that works so well, you want to go to work with them. You don't want to spend your shift with nobody else. They inspire you. The two of y'all get the whole job done. Y'all do more together than anybody else in the company. Okay, maybe folks ain't them type of workers. But Ruth has some character. She has something that's clearly visible about her. She says to herself that if she will go to work, if she will go into the field and glean ears, it's possible that someone will have grace, will show her grace. And what she's indicating here is favor. The word grace here is probably most closely aligned with what we know favor to mean, and that of unmerited favor. She means perhaps in my putting myself in the way to do the necessary part, God will have someone to freely give to me. She's not taking the attitude that I'm going to demand it. She's taking the attitude that God will give me provision. She's not looking for somebody to possess her. She's clear on what she needs to do for provision. And she's willing to do it to provide for herself. Okay? I need somebody to know that one way you go know that you healing up is you ain't rushing, all right, into intimacy because of unmet needs like financial disasters. Because listen now, when money get funny, standards will change. You go from wanting them to look good and they need to be light-skinned and how tall are you, Rain? 6'9"? You know, they need to be well there. To now he can be short and Asian and bald head. He ain't got to have no teeth in his head. The question is, do you got money? Wait a minute now. You can't rush into any more relationships lowering your standard, right? Lowering your standard, thinking to yourself, hey, this is going to be the best way for me to get a come up. That's an insecure place to lead from. If what's driving your connection is what can somebody do for me, you are used to transactional love. Covenant relationship will not always be about what somebody can do for you. It'll be much more about what you can bring to them. It always has an eye for the other. And it takes some trust, because while you're eyeing them, they need to be eyeing you in order for this thing to be a healthy exchange. Healthy love always has an eye for the other, and it creates safety before it demands anything of you. Am I making sense to you? All right, let's look at Ruth 2:8-9, and just look at this. Because once Boaz introduced himself into Ruth's world, he established some things. Ladies, notice some green flags, right? All right, he says that the boys tell me that you're working here and that you're enjoying it. I like the fact that you're here. I've talked to them. Have not I charged them and told them don't mishandle you. Don't touch you. Be respectful to you. What is Boaz doing? He's setting some boundaries, and he's making sure she feels safe. Before he asks anything of her, he makes sure she feels safe. Young sister, before you are asked to give up anything, ask yourself, do you feel safe? I mean, from the environment to this person, do you feel safe? Look at somebody and say, safety first. Brothers, I about need to ask you the same question before you jump up giving anybody else your paycheck. Come on, because I got to prepare the brothers too, because some of you sisters, y'all rough out here. Before you give up any more paychecks, brother, do you feel safe? I mean, is your name on the lease? Okay, little bro, I need you to understand something. If your name ain't on the lease, you ain't got no house. All right. Before you go jumping, giving your whole paycheck to somebody else, do you even feel safe enough to be here the whole month? Or will one slight argument mean you out the door and your check still here? We got to start having some different conversations. What Boaz does, he makes sure no one has improper access to her, right? He protects her body, her dignity, and her reputation. Does that make sense? Yeah. One way you'll know love is healthy and getting secure is it will not take advantage of access. It'll take responsibility for your safety. It doesn't assume that because I'm keeping you safe, I have unlimited access to you. Now it's up to you to be able to identify safety, to know what safety feels like. People who take advantage of you, they are in positions of authority, power, you look up to them, and they mishandle that. You have to be careful that you don't lower your guard and put yourself in a predatory situation. Many people cannot handle power. They cannot handle access. And if you notice it, you have to put yourself in a safer position. Am I making sense to you? Boundaries create love. Boundaries are necessary for healthy love. Verse 15 says, let her glean even among the sheaves and reproach her not. The word reproach means don't bring a sense of shame or humiliation to her. He wants it to be clear that she's not to be trifled with or played with or mishandled, not in what she's receiving in terms of her wages, not in their assertions of what she ought to be because she is a Moabite. She's not a Israelite. Some of this he's saying don't mishandle her because she's different, not just because she's a woman, but because she's an immigrant or of immigrant status. So he's showing himself to not just be a good man, but to be a God man, that he understands covenant, that way back in Deuteronomy, God said, don't mishandle the stranger, the foreigner. Am I making sense to you? He's not just making a decision to treat her well because he has a natural interest in her. He's making a decision to treat her well because he's well. I don't know if I'm making sense to you in this house. Some of you are only used to people being kind to you, nice to you, respectful to you when they want something. But he wants nothing from her right now. See, this is the safety. This is what I want you to start. Make a decision from a safe place. They didn't ask for anything. They're not trying to force anything. They're being very clear that right now, I just want to make sure you're safe. I just want to make sure you're good. Are you comfortable? I ain't even got to the point of if I want to date you. I don't know that yet. I just met you. However, because I was raised right, because I'm secure with myself and with my God, I don't have any ulterior motives. You know, wouldn't it just be nice to meet somebody that ain't got ulterior motives? Boundaries are necessary for secure love. Men, you have to set some boundaries. Women, you have to set some boundaries to experience secure love. I want you to just make sure you write that down. All right, now, let's look at what's going on. There's a word here that talks about when a man leaves his mother and father. I think we talked about it the first week, that they'll cling. Did I talk about what the Hebrew word there really speaks to when it says cling? It's the bog, and it means to adhere, to bond, to be joined in a way that holds. But I want somebody to know clinging comes after safety. Right? That type of like bonding, a man leaving his mother and father and clinging, it comes after there's a safety enough in the relationship to say, we can do this. You can't cling to folks, bond to folks, if there is not safety. God never commanded marriage bond with unsafe folks. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. He never designed that clinging to happen between two people who are damaged and hurting each other. So we have to slow it down and make sure we don't cling with folks before we heal. Am I making sense to you? So in order to experience secure love, what we need is a constant, consistent, steady presence. The same today and tomorrow. You're not going to change up on me. I know what I got. I know what to expect. That's important. I just need consistency. Maybe you're not even perfect, but I need you to be consistent enough of my soul to know what I'm dealing with. If you're different every day, I naturally feel unsafe because I just don't know what I'm doing. Am I making sense to you? So Boaz models secure love because, number one, he stays present. He doesn't change. From day one when he meets her, he's kind. He's a gentleman. He establishes boundaries. He makes sure she's good. When she starts increasing, he doesn't figure out a way to manipulate and take from her. He figures out a way to help her increase more. And I've told so many of you in private who are looking for a husband, I say, well, look, get in your field. Get in your field. Some of you catch my riddle, some of you don't, but you about to really know what I mean. Get in your field, sis. Some of you are not shining in your light enough for a quality man to see you. Get in your field. Ruth gets in her field and she does her work and she's just doing her thing. Notice how Boaz notices her while she's just, tell him, Elder, you got to get in the field. Get in your field. You at home in the bed talking about you want to make, you better get in the field. Get out in life. Get involved. Let your light shine. Be who you are. Do what you do. And watch Boaz notices. And look, he doesn't want to rescue her, snatch her away from it. He enhances what she's doing. He says, I see you. You in your light. You obviously have goals. How can I help you? Oh, that's different. That's different than someone who sees you have goals, know you're trying to accomplish, and their idea of love is that fish love, so they consume you. Their idea of love is to put you up like a porcelain doll on a shelf and put you in a little plastic. Anybody grew up with folks with them porcelain dolls? It's always a little spooky to me, but there was a couple people who had them in the plastic and stuff, but that thing was dusty. What is going on? And some people just like collecting them. I don't know what it was. What was it about porcelain dolls? Maybe people just want to collect porcelain dolls. But some people want to collect you. Y'all don't even understand what I'm trying to tell you. They want to collect you. They want to have you as a prized possession, put you in a little box and set you on the shelf. And as long as you're there, you're good. Like, you're safe. You're theirs. You're mine personally. Look, you got to watch it. I don't know if that's the kind of love we want, right? You don't want a love that controls you and manipulates you and is so insecure it has to keep you to itself like that. You want a love that could be secure enough that when it sees your destiny, your light, instead of restricting you, it can push you. Am I making sense to you? All right? He stays present. He communicates clearly. He honors Ruth publicly, right? And he delays intimacy until covenant. Now, when you're in insecure love, you can't wait. And listen, all of us been in insecure love, okay? When you're in insecure love, you can't wait because it seems like that waiting means you're going to lose them. And this is when waiting became any degree easier. It was only when I began to honor that that waiting means that I'm not afraid of loss. I don't know if I'm making sense. A lot of us have only known how to keep somebody off of a certain type of interaction. And if you ain't careful, when that thing start feeling like it's getting a little distant, you'll increase a certain type of interaction because you're afraid of losing. But you can't run your whole life manipulating it through. Y'all grown. You know what I'm trying to say. At some point, you got to have enough in this relationship that if we can't have all the extra interaction, do we still love each other? Do we see enough of each other to really be here for one another and support each other and encourage each other's growth? Am I making sense to you? When you're a certain age and stage, you only know to define a relationship by all the interactions. And as long as the interactions are good, it's good. Soon as the first hiccup come with the interactions, I don't know. I think. Sister, some of y'all horrible. As soon as the problems come, right, you have a different setup about this thing. I don't think this is my husband. What you mean? Brothers, we're a little bit more patient. We just be glad to, however it come along for us. But sisters, y'all have high criteria sometimes. And you have to be careful because when a relationship is built off all the interactions, man, when the thrill is gone. Insecure love is always rushing to do married folk stuff because it fears abandonment. Please don't. What do you need? Okay. We'll do it. And all the elements are not right. You somewhere getting ate up by mosquitoes, feeling very uncomfortable and unhappy, but you're going along with it. That's not safe. That's not safe. Insecure love's always rushing. I know, insecure love's always rushing stuff because it fears abandonment, fears being alone. I want somebody to write this down. I no longer fear my alone season. Now, alone doesn't mean lonely, but it means that there's a period for all of us where we must develop ourselves in order to receive what we say we want. I want to rush through this, all right? Just please note for me that both Boaz and Ruth have gone through their own seasons of development before they meet each other. Obviously, Boaz, is a great man. He's a noble man. He already has a reputation of being a good person. He's developed. He's not being developed. He don't need Ruth to make him a good man. He was good when she got there. You got it? Because some of you swear you're going to be needed. They should already be made. Ruth has already been married, endured loss, grief. She's been discipled by her mother-in-law, and she's proven to be a virtuous woman, working on herself, developing her character. As a matter of fact, this is one reason why Boaz loves her, because he says, I see how you were loyal to your mother-in-law at a point when you could have been all about you. You don't even understand. The green flag secure men are looking for is, can you be trusted? I'm going to let that be a prophetic cue. That phone ringing for a reason. That was somebody's whole word right there. Because you want a certain quality man, but the question is, can you be trusted to be loyal through hard times, bad times? Secure men ain't just, no, they looking for something from you too. And what he noticed in Ruth is that when it would have been convenient for you to stay in Moab with your family, you chose to stick it out with your ailing, elderly mother-in-law and love her and cover her. And you wouldn't abandon her when she was in the most bitter time of her life. Woman, you don't know what that does for a quality man to see that you have the potential, just the potential, to be loyal when it's inconvenient. Ruth showed she could be loyal if she didn't get nothing out of the deal. She could be loyal because of what was in her. She was a good woman. Good people deserve good people. Some of us won't be honest with ourselves. We ain't good people. We're manipulative, shysty. Everything is about what we can extract, what we can get. And if the benefit stops, so do we. We'll switch up. We'll move to somebody's friend. We'll move to their brother. No values. Because what we want is what we want. Honestly, brothers and sisters, do we deserve a good husband, a good wife, somebody that'll create safety for you, and your heart is not content to love them for real? Do we really deserve good people when we only want to extract what we can extract, and then we toss them to the side? Covenant love, secure love, it protects dignity, not just desire. Just these few things and I'm finished. Secure love will speak clearly to you, won't leave you out there in the dark. You'll know exactly what kind of relationship you got. If y'all in the friend phase, you will know it. They're not going to leave you confused. If they want to move the relationship forward, you will know it. They're not going to leave you confused. Am I making sense to you? You ain't going to never say, well, what is we? I don't know. That's not going to happen in secure love. It will not be ambiguous. It will be very clear what's going on here. Okay? And secure love does, and let me just tell you this, because it wasn't Boaz who, this some folks don't understand. Ruth came to him, and she said, now you've been very kind. you've been sending all the signals, but are you going to redeem me? I'm going to leave it alone, because some folks thought it had to come one way. I thought Boaz, well, Ruth said, you doing all the right stuff, and I'm discerning some things that could happen here. But what are you saying? Will you be the one to redeem? Check out secure love. No games, no gimmicks. Boaz hears the matter. He says, give me to tomorrow. Huh. Give me to tomorrow. I'll redeem you. I just need to make sure that I could do things right and in order. And when he found out was that there was actually another eligible kinsman. But the kinsman, when he realized that Ruth was a Moabite, refused it. Now Boaz could move legally and finish the deal. Am I making sense to you? But now that didn't come from him. I hope somebody see what I'm saying. Ruth had to be secure enough too to say, hey, you're giving me all the right signs, but don't let me be out here confused. Give me some clarity. And he does. He gives her clarity. He responds. He lets her know, I got you. Oh, that was somebody's whole word. You go hear it. You go remember what the preacher just said. Somebody go hear, I got you. And it's going to be a different feeling. Something just going to run through you. All right. So I said secure love protects dignity, not just desire. Secure love speaks clearly. It won't be ambiguous. Number 3, the last thing I want you to take away is that secure love will wait for covenant. It's not just about chemistry. You will find, I found, waiting is not about repression, and I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do in their relationship. But when you start getting to godly unions, I found that most people do they just want to bring some element of reverence to it. And I find a lot of people say, well, you know what, I've been going about relationships a certain way so long, I think this one I really do want to try differently. And these are normally the relationships that they're beginning to feel a little bit more secure and safe with. And if you're in that position and you say, well, you had all your fun days before me, just hold on. I think what they're trying to tell you is if you can create enough safety. All right. You're not understanding. I think what they're trying to let you know is that if you'll be willing to go the distance with me, there's a lot more where that comes from, but I don't want to put it out anymore without safety first. I don't want to keep bearing my soul, giving my all, releasing the best of me to people who will walk away from me. Am I making sense to you? And there's nothing wrong with you putting that boundary down and being very clear with people that you're no longer at that place where you play those kind of games. You're willing to give the best of you to somebody who will honor the best of you. Am I making sense to you? So, brothers, all right, let's put a little pressure on us. And I'm not saying just be marrying to get that basic need met. Okay. But I'm saying that Beyonce was right. If you want it, you might have to put okay. I was wondering if any of my saved sisters was going to agree with that. Y'all, get right, sisters. I'm talking. All right. You got to have a standard. Now, at least I expect to hear the standard. You got to let them know out front that, look, marriage is important to me. Covenant is important to me. And I don't want to keep issuing out all the goods without the safety first. Okay? So I want to open up the altar. And when I open up the altar, this ain't just for married folks. I hope it's for single folks and married-to-be folks, folks who are tired of rushing, folks who are tired of retreating. The posture that we're coming with is one of humility and honesty and dependence on God. I don't believe that a covenant relationship is about control. I believe a covenant relationship is about exchange. It's about the right environment for someone to grow and to be all that God has called them to be. I'm clear, not everybody's going to be married. As a matter of fact, the Bible clearly says it. Both Christ and Paul speak to it. That maybe the ministry of marriage is not for everybody. Some people just have no desire to be with anybody. They don't have physical desires, natural desires. They're practically asexual. And they're not in a place where they want to exchange like that. They need community, yeah. Maybe they live in a monastery, or maybe they, a convent with nuns. Not to exaggerate, you know what I mean. They have community, but they're just not set up for marriage. They don't have that appetite, that need, or that desire. And there's nothing wrong with that. This call is not for people who just want to be married. The call is for people who need to experience the type of secure love, the safety for once, that allows your heart to fully open, allows you to be fully human. Am I making sense to you? So even if you're not married and you don't want to be married, I want to open the altar for anyone who just says, Lord, I do want to heal.